It's true that for the G8 and for the ideological, mercenaries of the oligarchies of the financial capitals, the worst thing which can happen to them is a peaceful, pluralistic, international demonstration. Africa is offended by Amaru Yur Adwa. Is offended. And you cannot camouflage that the Nigerian president, he will be in all the papers, he will give press conferences and so on. 1.5 months after the European Union said he's a bandit, he treacherous, the elections were completely rigged, and then he's honored by the G8. This is an objective fact you cannot camouflage. Exxon, Shell, British Petroleum, Total, Repol from Spain and so on, they make money incredibly. It would be really defamatory to say that Mrs. Merkel does not read the report of the Election Control Commission of the Union Africaine, or that she thinks that corrupt military leaders who steal all the money, and 53% of the people in Nigeria, 131 million people, 53% of them are under from the World Bank defined extreme poverty line, in a country which gained last year $18 billion. Nigeria is the 5th biggest oil producer in the world. $18 billion from oil and gas. So it's not her who invited him. I'm sure she hates this, but she was forced to do it by the multis, by the oil companies.
These 8 white men are making decisions that affect the lives of millions of people, and they have not voted for these people. They have no accountability, no responsibility, and they need to be stopped. We should not be asking the G8 to do things, we should be stopping the G8.
The World Food Programme is nourishing, last year was nourishing 91 million people. 91 million people, you only see Darfur, were nourished, alimentated by the World Food Programme. You may say it's not much on out of 845 million people who are gravely permanently undernourished. But still, 91 million people survived on this planet because of the United Nations.
I'm a G8 monster and I'm just chewing the earth, basically.
Without transgenic food, the food production today could nourish normally, which means 2,700 calories adult person per day, normally 12 billion people. If you take rice, épi de riz, comment tu dis l'épi? The rice,
The grain of rice.
The grain of, the whole thing together, the plant of rice. And you put on them the genome of tomatoes, or of a sheep. Then you can create plants who resist better to the temperature, who resist better to bad soil, and who give more harvest. Because at the first, I say it again, at the first sight, you may say, yeah, why should the Indian peasant, why should the Bengali peasant, the Zambian peasant not use seeds from which is proven that the product is more resistant, is bigger, and so on, Instead of wheat like this, you have wheat like this, and so on and so on. Why shouldn't he profit from this? But 2 things, that's why I'm completely against. 2 things, first of all, the risk to public health is not decided today. Half of the biologists say it will become a catastrophe when human organism is going to get alimentated by this. It will be a catastrophe. Second argument is the financial slavery financial slavery, using transgenetic seeds, is using a patent, because the transgenetic modification is protected by an international patent. You use the patent, and you have to pay every year to Monsanto, to Syngenta, to Nestle, etc., the patent fee. And this means absolute slavery for the world peasants.
I think that a very massive change in our way of life, especially in the way of life of people in Germany and all the countries which are part of G8, is necessary for live on this planet.
They are not bad people and we are the good. But the consensus of Washington, I mean the ideology, the consensus of Washington, says that when all the frontiers, when all the circuits, when all the movements of capital, of patents, of services, of merchandise is completely free, the capitals go there, capital goes there in any moment where it gets the most profit, you know? Capital is completely mobile, goes there where it gets the most profit, and in consequence, the riches will grow. And one day there will be the trickle-down effect, says the neoliberal theory, trickle-down effect, the golden rain. Because even the very, very rich who monopolize the riches today, they cannot travel in 10 Rolls-Royce at the same time, they cannot live in 20 villas on the Côte d'Azur at the same time, they cannot eat 50 kilos of caviar a day. There will be objective limit in the accumulation of riches by the few who dominate the capital today. That's the theory of the neoliberal. It was already the theory of Adam Smith and David Ricardo 200 years ago. This is wrong, because in today's capitalism, there is no limit, there is no relationship between usefulness and accumulation, valeur d'usage, as Marx said. Because behind the multinational capital, the market strategy, market conquest, there is an unlimited will to power, avidity, rapacity, you know? You cannot say after a hedge fund manager, when he earns 1 million, he sits back and says, now I'm going to make an international foundation, I will pay my chauffeur, my kitchen maid, my employees the double, because I have enough. It's an infinite. In capitalism, the motor is avidity, is greed. This worldwide apartheid, which is the product of jungle capitalism, you know, of the autonomization of one capital form, which is financial capital, which makes money with money, and is absolutely no creative. By the stock exchange, you make money, you know, the hedge funds and the derivat, etc. Last year, World Bank, the nice topic, World Bank statistics. Last year, if you, on all the financial trading places of the world, from Hong Kong to Frankfurt and so on, there were medium-wise on opening days exchanged $1,000 billion of dollars, changed identity, either changed in other money, in yen, etc., or changed juridical identity, Of this $1,000 billion, which changed identity on the world money markets, in a year, we change every day in a year, change identity. Only 13% was productive capital, which means was capital who was used to pay a debt, or to buy a house, or to invest in a industry, new machines, or to pay insurance premium, productive capital. And 87% was purely speculative capital.
Whole thing will end with heaven down on earth, as anarchists always have said. Heaven down to earth, but it will be in 10,000 years or something.
Everybody knows we are right. I'm nothing. I'm a little bourgeois from Geneva. I'm strictly, absolutely nothing.
There was a fucking lie there! There was fucking lie! Fucking clubs and walls, smashing people down! It was crazy!